Welcome to Channel X TV. Excited today to be here with Sadra and to talk about payments. So welcome, Sadra. How are you?
I'm great, Chris. What about yourself?
Great. I'm good, thank you. And I've just realised, I just said we're here to talk about payments. So I've probably just got everyone to turn off before they've even started watching this video.
Yes, so excited. Yeah.
Let me be a bit more specific. We're going to talk about e-commerce marketplace payments, but we're also going to get a little bit into agentic AI and how the world of payments is changing. But first of all, just tell us who you are, Sadra, and what you do at Ryft.
Of course. So I'm Sadra Hosseini. I'm CEO and co-founder at Ryft. I'm a third-time founder. First company I started in 2015. It was a luxury tech platform which we scaled. It's a kind of profitable business that I hand off to my co-founder. And about 5 years ago now, I saw an opportunity in the hospitality space where I saw the likes of Uber Eats and Deliveroo. They kind of make that experience super easy, super seamless when you're ordering your food. So it got me thinking, why can't you have the same experience when it comes to going out? So why do you have to wait for a waiter for 10, 15 minutes to order? Why do you have to queue up at the bar to pay for something? So I decided to build a marketplace platform. It was one app across all venues where you could order your food and drink. We started that business pre-COVID. COVID hit. We scaled that business rapidly to about 1 million customers. And it was acquired about 3.5 years ago. And while we were building that business, we realized that the payment space is changing. And where that change is coming from is volume is moving from the legacy guys, the Elevons, the WorldPays, to digital platforms, marketplaces, who have 85% market penetration with SMEs. So SMEs, sellers are on these platforms in the day-to-day selling their products. And we realized that the platforms want to both kind of bring that in-house. So it makes the user journey easier and more frictionless. And they want to monetize these transactions in a compliant way. So we decided to set up Ryft, which is a payment system for marketplaces and digital platforms. We take care of all the compliance. We take care of all the regulation side, all the tech. And we allow these platforms to become their own payment processor, making what we see is on every 100 mil, they make an extra 1.27 mil going through the platform. So there's a quick overview, but you have to go through anything specific you'd like to go through.
Yeah, and I want to dive straight into it because marketplace payments are tricky enough at the best of times because you're effectively, you're splitting a payment because you're taking money from a consumer, some of which the marketplace is going to want on commission, some of which the retailer is going to want for payment for their goods. But then there might also be some retail media mixed in, which is maybe a different pot. And there might be some shipping to pay for a shipping provider mixed in. And there's so many different bits of payments. But we know that happens and it's complicated, but tech can handle it. What I'm really interested in is from the marketplace perspective, how can they analyze these payments and identify the merchants, the categories, the product bundles that are driving a high margin, so that they can kind of drive promotions and traffic to the most profitable products. And that's probably, I'm sad to say, profitable for the marketplace. It may not be the most profitable for the seller, but let's be honest, the marketplace is driving this and they want to make money. So how can they analyze everything to drive traffic? And can they actually do it from the payment?
Yeah, so I think most importantly, you need to be working with the right payment platform. So if you're using a legacy business, a legacy kind of payment provider, all they can do is something for marketplaces, something called merchant of record. So they will give the marketplace an account, and they'll say, you guys go do payment processing, whatever you want. End of the day, we'll just settle all that money into your account. And then you can go and disperse those funds to the sellers, to the shipping providers, whoever's involved in each transaction. Two problems with that. First of all, it's non-compliant. So we had a new regulation came into effect in December 2020 that mentioned that marketplaces can't send the flow of funds unless they have a license. And it takes 18 months to get a license. Only 5% of businesses manage to get that. So that's problem one. Problem two is it creates extra work for the marketplace itself. And that's both in doing the payout, so they have to do manual work. You could make mistakes, so there could be human error in terms of paying out to the sellers. And then second point to that is if that is to be automated, they have to build this whole balance system so that they know what the payment was for, who it was taken on behalf, and who do they need to pay out to. So it creates all these extra work for the marketplace itself for the tech side. To bring all that issue down, to simplify all of that, if you use the right payment provider, they can have that fully integrated into the marketplace itself. And this is where what I like to call Commerce 2.0 comes into effect, where you got these complex payment flows, and the payment provider can literally give the API calls to the platform itself to say, here's £10 that needs to go to Chris, here's £50 that needs to go to Sadra, here's £100 that needs to go to X, and all of that balance can be held by the payment provider, so that the marketplace don't have to build that themselves. So that allows them to build this data piece up, and then they can take that data that could be all pulled through the API, so application layer into the marketplace's analytics platform. So there's quite a few in the market, or if the payment provider provides that, they can look at that data online and just make decisions on the products. So it's not just purely, oh, product X does really well. It's also, where should you be selling that? Which geolocations should be selling that? And what kind of people should you be targeting? You can look at acceptance rates. If, for example, you're selling a product that's in the UK, but you're selling to someone in Germany, you can see acceptance rates might drop. So you want to make sure that you're selling the German product to a German person. Oh, so all of these things kind of come into it when you, and it creates a lot of complexities, but obviously that's what we're there to handle.
Yeah, and it's interesting you're talking about selling to geolocation customers, UK or Germany, you said, but it could just as easily be Southern England, Northern England, depending where warehouses are, etc. And I'm kind of interested in that personalization and how agentic AI can use payments data to identify and deliver high conversion purchases or purchase suggestions. And can it be done on the fly to individual customers, or is it something that you kind of look at and then adjust your sales flows after the event?
No, you can definitely look at it in real time. So once a customer logs in, you can track them. You know who the customer is. You know what they've bought previously, and then you can start providing that personalized service. And there's quite a few new platforms popping up. I don't know if you've looked at Lovable, where they allow you to build the kind of front end for these marketplaces, so you can create a really personalized experience. That's where we are now. Where we're going in the next 5 years, it gets very exciting, because if you look at, for example, I don't know if you've seen ChatGPT Operator. So have you seen it? Yeah. So
I don't know whether the people watching the video will have seen it. So tell us about it.
I'll explain what it is. So basically, if you're using ChatGPT Pro, it's about $200 a month. It will open a browser window for you, and then you can say, go to eBay, buy me a pair of shoes, I don't know, on training, whatever it might be, and pay for it and check out and everything. So it will start finding the right product. It will prompt you to say, are you happy with this? You say yes. It'll move on to card details. I've got the card details you want to fill out. Yes, go ahead. So right now, you will, and to be completely honest, like it's early days. It doesn't work that well. We've tried it. It's too early. But in the next 5 years, this will really jump. Sorry, go on. You want to say something?
No, I was just going to say it's kind of scary stuff that it can. I know it's a bit rough around the edges, but it's almost like you've got a shopping assistant that goes out and does the shopping for you. And I guess the Amazon Echo device and Amazon Rufus are trying the same thing specifically on Amazon. But when you can just tell this thing, I'll call it, but we know it's an AI agent, but you can tell this thing to go out and get this for me, almost like I've got to cook a birthday cake. Go and get me flour, eggs, sugar, icing sugar. Find the best price and order it for me. And I don't really care if it goes to Tesco's or Morrison's or Asda or Sainsbury's or Waitrose. And it's going to go and do it for me. And then it's already got my stored payment credentials. So it can just go and pay it for me as well.
Exactly. And that's where the market is going, right? It's here's what I want. I don't want to think about it. Either go and buy it for me, or if it's going to be a big purchase, give me a few options and then I'll pick and choose. That's where we are. Where we're going is then for the marketplaces themselves, they need to then understand, okay, what's the best way for me to advertise today to this AI agent rather than to a human being? Because right now, everything that we do is geared towards selling to humans. You go on Google Shopping, you go on Google pay-per-click. Everything is kind of geared towards a human looking at that. We need to start then shifting to a human's not going to look at this. What does the AI agent really care about? And I don't know if you saw OpenAI just bought IO, which was a Johnny Ive kind of business. This is
the Apple designer, isn't it?
Yeah. Johnny Ive. He actually went to my universities. I really like him. But in 2026 or 2027, they're going to come out with a device the size of an iPad Nano, where you just speak to it. There's no screen, and it'll just go and do. So marketplaces, digital platforms will need to learn, how do I start marketing to the agents themselves rather than to human being? Because that's where I think the market will start shifting.
I think that's really easy. And I think the simple answer for product information is rich data. Forget about keywords and everything. Give me tons and tons of data in context and pictures of the product being used in context.
Yes.
But I want to get back to the payment side, because that's what you're involved with.
Sure.
And talk about the nasty side of payments, the dispute resolution. And that could be either, I don't think I've got enough money that you've not paid me enough, or it could be I've paid and I've not got the product, who's going to reimburse me? And it could be, I'm sorry, I'm trying to rip you off. Do you recognize me as a con merchant, or is it a genuine complaint? How can AI agencies sort of reconcile split payments, flag discrepancies, resolve billing errors, and frankly, stop the fraud before the revenue itself is actually impacted?
Yes, that's a great question. So there's multiple pieces in that. So on the dispute side, so if the user is not happy with the product, that obviously there's a dealing with the marketplace itself, and we give them all the data, so we can say, listen, this customer was based in Singapore, but they bought in the UK. That was and they wanted to ship to the UK, so that was a fraud kind of transaction. So we would pass all that information to the platform itself to say, you can make the final decision. Sometimes they want us to make the decision, and that's fine, that's done on the fly. But sometimes the platform wants to make that decision. So we give them all that information so that they have that within their internal tools. And when it comes to the fraud side, there is big markers. So you can see if someone is buying from Nepal, for example, and it's a kind of British business, we can block that transaction straight away. And as you said, there's a split transaction happening here where someone might pay £1,000, but that needs to be split 5 ways, and only one leg of that might be fraudulent or to the wrong seller. So we can then block that transaction, pull that back, and then pay back to the buyer itself. And then that complexity, because we have the sellers, you have thousands of sellers, you have hundreds of thousands of buyers. This needs something very specific, transaction monitoring, where we need to then be able to tell if a buyer is genuine, if there's no money laundering happening between the seller and the buyer. So all of this is run through a machine learning algorithm that constantly improves itself. So if there's a feedback loop, It'll say, this is fraudulent transaction, feed it back to the system. Why was it fraudulent? Okay, and the system keeps getting better over time. There are ways for the marketplaces to do this on their own platform, but it's an extra cost, extra headache. And unless you're above a certain threshold in terms of processing volume, it really doesn't make sense to do that. And that's why it's great to partner with businesses on your journey as you scale as a business.
Yeah, and I know this is really difficult because I'm a prime culprit. I've done all sorts of mad things, like got a friend in America, it's their birthday, I'll buy something on Amazon.com and get it shipped direct.
Yes.
And I've also done I'm buying from an American company that refuses to ship outside the States. I'll get it shipped to a friend's house in America and then pay a courier to pick it up and deliver it to the UK.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I must be a prime red flag on a lot of payment systems that looks a bit like fraud, but it's okay because it's only Chris and he's just doing weird things, as opposed to someone else that really is committing fraud.
Yeah, and that's the nuance, right? There is the super simple stuff that you can pick up. There's also friendly fraud, and then there is full fraud, which is kind of the financial risk is huge on those. So the right product will be able to pick out each one of these, put a risk score against it, and then it will block the wrong transactions that are going through.
So I want to turn to the sellers on marketplaces, the retailers and brands selling on them.
Yes.
Now, frankly, the bit about split payments they don't like is paying the marketplace fees, but we kind of accept that's going to happen. But what are the benefits for sellers on marketplace if the marketplace has a payments partner like Ryft?
Yeah, so this goes back to what we were talking about, the legacy guys. So if a marketplace is using one of the legacy guys and they're using the merchant of record model, the reason the regulations for PSD2 came into effect was what happens if the marketplace is sat in the flow of funds. So the payment processor is putting all the money into their account and they're saying, you go pay out to your sellers. What happens if the marketplace goes into insolvency or they become bankrupt? What will happen to that money? And that's why the regulation came into effect, to say you either go and get a license or you work with a licensed entity like Ryft, and they will sit in the flow of funds. So they will take the money, they will split the payment, so the marketplace will get their fees and the sellers will get their fees. If the marketplace goes under tomorrow, there's no risk for the sellers. They'll still get their money out of the account. So that's one piece. The second piece to that is ease of onboarding. So if you're using one of the new guys like Ryft, you click a button, you do your onboarding, takes about 5 minutes. You go live the same day. You can start selling products on the platform. So super easy. If you're using one of the legacy guys, then it'll take a couple of weeks to onboard you, get everything set up. They'll ask a lot of questions before you even done your first transaction. So if you're just going to sell on a marketplace, you're going to sell a chair, and that's it. Going through all this onboarding is just not worth it. So you'll just say, I can't be asked. I'm just going to leave it and kind of leave the platform. So those are the two big places that we can add value. And then they've got their own portals. They can see their own transactions, where the money is. So they've got full visibility on the transaction, on the transactions that are going through. So those are the places that we can really help the sellers.
So I can see the advantage for sellers, but now turning to the platforms themselves, the marketplaces. If they want to find out more, how do they get hold of you? How do they get hold of Ryft?
Great question. So getting hold of Ryft, super easy, ryftpay.com. Getting hold of me, my name is on the, I'm not going to spell it out, but my name is on the screen, Sadra Hosseini. I'm on LinkedIn, so I'm happy for them to message me.
We'll put your LinkedIn link just below this video.
Yeah, great. And if anyone's going to Money 2020, I'd love to meet people in person. But yeah, we're rapidly expanding business. We're growing globally, and we're working with the big acquirers to give them this technology. So yeah, we're more than happy to speak to people. We really love that kind of human connection that you won't get with some of the old boys in the market.
Yeah. Sadra, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Chris. Great to be on the show.